Welcome everybody to another video of Vinyl Addict. This is Chili, and in this day in rock, January 2nd, 2021, we lost producer Steve Brown, who produced the Cult's Love and Peace albums. Now before I get into this, please don't forget to hit the like button, comment on this video, share this video, and if you still haven't, please subscribe to the channel and hit the notification bell for updates. Okay, so with that out of the way, yes, producer Steve Brown, not only did he produce the Cult, he did produce like Wham, ABC, worked with Thin Lizzy. However, me being a big Cult fan, I'm going to focus, of course, on, I think, his masterpiece here, Love. And then later on, he did do the follow-up, which was not released up until 2013 as an accompaniment to the Electric album. So Electric Peace is what they're calling it. Now, when he did first start with the Cult, it was just listening to a demo of Seashell Sanctuary and switching it up a bit and cutting parts and changing it and playing it back to these guys. Now, a lot of this stuff, I'm going to talk about some of it, but I have the link below of this Steve Brown producing the Cult. And he kind of goes into like more in depth. I'm just going to touch on little things, but really give you my impression on this album, which I feel is one of their best albums of all time, The Cult. And so, yes, they were working on Seashell Sanctuary after they heard the little remix job or hatchet job that he did. And what Steve Brown said was it was a blessing and it was a curse. It was a blessing because it charted, but it was a curse because it set the bar so high that, the album and the second single had to be just as good. And they then worked on the song Rain, which he called it a little sister to Seashell Sanctuary. And that did well, of course. And so then they just had to work on the album. And they ended up with about, 16 songs. Of course, there's only 10 that made it. And he does talk about it on the video about how they decided, or he decided, which songs to keep, the track listing process and whatnot. And so there's a lot of great songs on there. They talk about Little Face, which I thought was one of their great songs. It's the stuff that he's worked on, some of the B-sides and everything, are really awesome. And so, yeah, it would have been kind of difficult trying to decide which stays and which goes. My least favorite song on there from the B-sides and just this whole kind of love era would be Judith. But, if that's their worst song, I mean, hey, wow, that's not so bad. So, just for fun, I put out, if they put out a double album of Love, a double LP with all 16 tracks, double LP, this is how I would keep the track list. Side 1, Nirvana, Big Neon Glitter, Love, The Snake. Side 2, Rain, Little Face, there's another B-side, Sunrise, B-side, Brother Wolf, Sister Moon, and then number 13, B-side. Side 3, start off with All Souls Avenue, Hollow Man, Revolution, and there's the Judith track. Side 4, The Phoenix, long version of Seashell Sanctuary, and of course Black Angel. We'll keep it at that. Now, if you want to hear, all of what I'm talking about, I mean, this is the Omnibus Edition. Too bad this is not on vinyl. This is a 4-disc set of a celebration of that Cult Love album. So disc 1 is the whole album, of course, the 10 tracks. Disc 2 is the singles and B-sides. Disc 3 would be the demos of this album. And of course, disc 4 would be a live performance from the Love Tour. And they also do Dreamtime and Death Cult material, which is great. So if you get a chance, talking to all you cult freaks out there, this is really cool to have. And there's a nice little book with a lot of liner notes in there and some things they talk about, not only with Ian, Billy, and Jamie, but of Steve Brown too. He has a lot of input on here. Now, After that, I mean, Steve Brown did go on tour with the Cult and everything on the Love album and everything, the Love tour. And he did go in and work on their next album, their follow-up, which didn't get released. A lot of these songs on here, which would end up being on the Electric album with Rick Rubin producing it. Some of these versions on here, they sound kind of cluttered to me. Love Removal Machine, Wildflower, Peace Dog, Aphrodisiac Jacket. I do like their version of Electric Ocean and Bad Fun. They're totally different versions. Then say like Wildflower. I mean, some of these songs you still kind of hear. You could hear what they were doing and were trying to get to on the Electric album after Rick Rubin, as Billy Duffy would say, reduced them, took out all these guitar parts that were just kind of like going nowhere, and all these things, and just kind of cut it and stripped it down really to the core, and which sounded like AC/DC at some points, but still it was just blues based rock and roll, and they took out all the layering and all that other stuff. However, side 2 has songs like Conquistador, Zap City, Love Trooper, and Groove Company. Now those songs ended up as B-sides from the singles off the Electric album, like Little Devil. The B-side would be Zap City. Zap City I love. Love Trooper, awesome. That to me is like in my top 10 as favorite Cult songs of all time, along with Little Face, and some of the other B-sides, The Snake. All this stuff is really cool, but this did not see the light of day until its entirety in as far as of all the tracks together in 2013, and they have it with this album. So you get the Electric Peace album. It's a 2 LP collection, so you can hear both versions. And I myself don't really, it's not my go-to, the Peace album. I do love, like I said, Love Trooper and Zap City, and I probably just throw on the 12 inches for that. But however, yes, it's still part of their history, and it wasn't, of course, like this, but as far as I feel when I hear the Peace album, and you hear the Electric album, and I guess there was a communication there, because now you know that how Billy and Ian wanted to sound, as far as how Steve Brown was kind of taking them, from what they were saying, that he wanted to be a heavier, harder band or whatever. And it seems like he was better doing it this way. This album was just like, as Billy said, with working with Steve Brown, this was the perfect time. So that is my video on this day in rock. January 2nd, 2021, we lost Steve Brown, producer of the Love album by the Cult. Leave me a comment below. What are your thoughts on this? Do you have a track list of these 16 songs? I'd like to hear it, because I think all of them are pretty much standout tracks. And with that, I'll shut up, and I'll see you guys on the next video. Bye.